Previously on Hannibal.
Did you just smell?
Use the ladies' room!
So season 2, we start out, Will is in prison for murders he did not commit. He is going to go on a trial to prove his innocence. And yeah, he's locked up in the bisexual hospital for the criminally insane. I swear it's called the Baltimore State Hospital for the criminally insane. No, that's every single time I have to remember that I have to. I'm getting encephalitis just thinking about this. The Baltimore State Hospital for the criminally insane. The BSHCI. Oh my goodness.
BICTH.
The hospital where they keep serial killers. Anyway, Will is there. Hannibal is sort of determined to do something about it because he finds out that his life is so empty without Will, even though he, convicted him. And he has to take Will out of jail somehow. So that's really what the beginning of the first half of the season is about. Anyway, let's go. So all the time Will spends in prison, he goes fishing in his mind palace. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. It's just his way of zoning out while he's in his prison cell. It's just like standing around and imagining himself fishing. He is literally one of those t-shirts with "Gone Fishing," one of those fishing people. He's a fishing person. Oh, and then, in a nice contrast to last season where Hannibal was crying crocodile tears, Will has this scene in the beginning where he is crying and he's making a really big show out of it because he needs Alana and Hannibal's help.
I need your help.
And then he immediately just goes, gotcha. It's like the moment he's alone, he's just sitting down there like, got him. I loved him. The little manipulative asshole. The way he cries also, he cries like a dog, which is very appropriate. Because, he's a dog person. Have you seen my nails? Oh my goodness. Have you seen it? I don't know if you can see it. It's Pride season. Ooh. I love doing this. Just like, sis. I don't know. Disgusting. Anyway, then there's another bizarre scene that I even though I've rewatched it, the season now, I cannot remember why Hannibal does this. He pretends to be clumsy so that he bumps into 2 out of 3 of the forensic scientists. And I don't know why he does it. I couldn't tell you why he does this. So there's a serial killer who collects bodies to create an artwork inside of a silo. And Hannibal, by the way, he has a murder suit, which is made of plastic, and it looks so goofy, and I love it. And it's stupid because it doesn't even protect his hair. Like, he could absolutely drop his hair all over the crime scenes and people would find it immediately, but it's not why he's wearing it. It's his vinyl Prada suit that he has to wear over his actual suits because he would never go anywhere underdressed, I guess. So he goes to the silo, and he goes to the top of the silo and peeks through this little hole at the top of the roof. And Hannibal looks down at the killer, and he's like, "Hello, I love your work."
Hello. I love your work.
Could you imagine, like, a serial killer saying that to you? "Hello, I love your work." Stupid weirdo.
Hello?
There's a beautiful scene that's supposed to be like a contrast where Will and Hannibal are getting dressed for court. And for some reason, Hannibal, he like forcibly sips up his fly, and you can see him doing it. And then he turns around and checks out his own ass in the mirror. And I don't know why they put that in there. Hannibal, you weirdo. Freddie Lowndes, the journalist, she shows up in court and she looks so good. Oh my goodness. She went so fucking hard and she did not have to. She is dressed to kill, literally. And then she gets demolished in court because her testimony is worth of nothing. And it's just so funny. I love that scene. I'm so happy they did that.
Miss Lowndes, could you please remind me how many times you've been sued for libel?
Will's attorney receives some mail, and he opens it up, and there's a cut off ear in the mail. And then he says immediately, I think I got your mail by accident or something.
I think I opened your mail.
The attorney in general is quite a lot of fun. I don't know why Will got such an asshole attorney. I mean, I guess all attorneys are kind of assholes, but still, like, it's just so funny that he got the most asshole-ish of them all.
Unconsciousness in a pretty package. That I can sell.
Now, here's a moment that really baffled me when I watched it, because in season 2, Will has to sign a form to, like, consent to being hypnotized or something. And you see his signature up close. The season prior, Hannibal had forged Will's signature on one of the clocks that he showed to Jack and Ilana to try and convince them that Will isn't insane. Because he had drawn a perfect clock, and then he had signed it with Will Graham's name. But literally, there's no correlation between the two signatures. They could not be more different. And it's just so funny to me that if literally anyone had compared the two signatures, they would have immediately found out that Hannibal was messing with them, and up to no good, probably. And this could have all ended so much sooner. And it's just so baffling to me that Hannibal assumed that Will had the handwriting of a child or a horse girl, apparently, because that's what it looks like. It looks so bad, and it's just like, why, Hannibal? Why did you not even try doing this? Like, it's like he can get away with anything. Well, can he? No, he can't get away with anything. There's a moment I don't need to give you any context for. Hannibal gets bitch slapped, and it's all I need to say. That's great. It's a great moment. He deserves it. So because Will is considered a dangerous criminal, he gets one of those iconic hockey mask, straitjacket get-ups. The thing about it is that he gets like a clear plastic hockey mask. And first of all, it's doing something to me that I can't describe. I don't know why they had to linger so much on the process of him getting the harness put on, the entire process of it. Immediately after, he's taken somewhere where Jack takes the entire thing off of him, and it takes so long to show the whole thing. But it's really, why did they have to shoot it like that? Why was it so sensual? Also, the mask looks gross. It looks like there is so much condensation in there, and it's just giving me like sensory secondhand ugh. And later on, you see my favorite detail from the season, which is Hannibal makes a kidney pie, and the pie roof is shaped like Will's mask. I think that's just an incredible little detail. Like, they got that in there, and he's so satisfied with it. Ugh. Okay, so this is actually a sequence that I really wanted to explain in detail the context for it. So, Will is still in prison, and he is convinced that Hannibal is manipulating him and that Hannibal is a killer, and he needs to prove this one way or another, or he needs, do something about it. So, he finds out that he has a fanboy on the inside. One of the orderlies at the BSHI is simping for Will Graham, and as unbelievable as that sounds, yeah, he's really like convinced that Will is a genius killer and he would do anything for him. And Will straight up says, "I need you to kill Hannibal Lecter for me, okay?"
I want you to kill Hannibal Lecter.
And he just agrees to it. Hannibal goes swimming at the local YMCA. And at night, alone, for some god-awful reason. And then the guy, Will's fanboy, shows up and he swims a lap with Hannibal. And Hannibal is just not reacting to it at all. He's not like, hey, how come I'm all alone in this swimming pool and there's a guy swimming beside me? Maybe this is, dangerous. You'd think that he would keep his walls up all the time. But no, Hannibal just doesn't notice until the very last moment, where he's taken out with a tranquilizer dart, like a runaway giraffe at a zoo. The Chesapeake River was taken out by a fucking horse tranquilizer. Hannibal is almost killed, but of course, Jack shows up at the very last moment and saves him. And then everyone afterwards is like, hey, Will, that was a really dick move that you tried to get Hannibal killed. And Will is just like, I never did any such thing. I love this. I love this show.
Then you told him to kill Hannibal.
Nothing I said made that happen, Jack. I want you to kill Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, there's a wonderful character I haven't mentioned yet. Frederick Chilton is a psychiatrist. And he's always kind of skeptical of Hannibal, even though they're sort of supposed to be acquaintances, they're colleagues, I guess. And then he shows up at one of Hannibal's dinner parties, and he picks up one of the appetizers, and he stares at it, and he's like, whatever this is.
Heart tartare? Beef roulade? Whatever this is.
This is happening at the point where Frederick is beginning to suspect that Hannibal is a cannibal. And that's also where Frederick Chilton, the legend, the icon, he coins the phrase Hannibal the cannibal. Because of course he does.
Hannibal the cannibal. That is what they'll call him,
Will is finally exonerated from prison. And he comes home, and he's so happy to see his dogs. He has 7 rescue dogs, by the way. And Alana is there because she's been taking care of Will's dogs all this time. And she's brought her own dog with her. And she says, and I don't know why this is funny to me, she says, her name is Applesauce. She likes applesauce.
Who's this?
Applesauce. She's mine. She likes applesauce.
Sure does. It makes a lot of sense, Alana. Will gets out of prison, and the first thing he does after threatening Hannibal with killing him is that he gets a makeover. And I swear to God, he gets a makeover. He gets his hair gelled into a little swoopy shape. And then he goes to Hannibal's office and he greets him ass first.
Hello, Will.
May I come in?
Do you intend to point the gun at me?
And he's wearing a salmon shirt, the color of desire. And it's just so fucking weird to see. Like, oh, of course, Will is like, I'm changed now. Prison changed me. In the scene where we meet Mason and Margot Verger, Mason is, well, I can only describe it as abusing Margot. And he says this line, and I don't know why it's stuck with me, but he says, "You should have taken the chocolate, Margot."
You should have taken the chocolate, Margot.
Also, he is seen drinking martinis salted with the tears of his sister. Yes, really. That's how evil he is. There's another scene where Will is talking to Hannibal and he says, "I don't want to kill you anymore. Not now that I find you interesting." Why did he have to say it like that? Why? I swear to God, he puts his tongue out. He's like,
I don't want to kill you anymore, Dr. Lecter. Not now that I finally find you interesting.
Oh, and yeah, it's a throwback to that time in season 1 where he says, I don't find you that interesting.
I don't find you that interesting.
Okay, this is my favorite no context needed moment, where simply Hannibal says this: Peter, is your social worker in that horse?
Peter.
Is your social worker in that horse?
There's a beautiful moment where Hannibal pets a sheep, and it's very cute. And I like that we included that. So, like, this social worker has now crawled out of a horse, alive still. Not the horse, him. And Hannibal and Will are watching it happen. And they have a sort of what I can only describe as a romantic moment watching it happen. And it's just so weird thinking about the context of it, that they've just watched a guy crawl out of the belly of a horse. And Hannibal is like whispering something poetic about a butterfly or something to Will.
I can feed the caterpillar. I can whisper through the chrysalis, but what hatches? Follows its own nature and is beyond me.
Of all the places you guys could have been acting romantic, you had to do it here? Really? In front of my horse? Hannibal wears a stupid little monkey hat. And it's so in character for him, even though it was an accident, actually. There's a behind-the-scenes story. I heard someone say that Hannibal wasn't supposed to be wearing a hat in this scene, even though everyone else is. But it was so cold on set that day that one of the crew members gave Mess his little monkey hat. And it's just so in character for him, honestly, like that he's wearing this stupid little hat. It looks like that hat Napoleon is wearing in that one painting that I hate so much. A little bit of context here. So Will tried to get Hannibal killed earlier in the season via his fanboy in prison. And then Hannibal tries to get Will killed by sending a psychopath after him. But Will kills the guy when he arrives at his house. And then Will apparently drove all the way from Wolf Trap, Virginia to Baltimore, Maryland to deliver this guy's corpse on Hannibal's table. And what does Will say? Well, he just says, even Steven.
Even Steven.
Of all the things that you've been waxing poetically about, you had to say even Steven? I love the peaks and valleys of this show. I love the range. She's got the range. The random moment where Mason is talking to Margot and he says, this little piggy went all the way to the market.
This little piggy went all the way home.
I don't know why he says it like that. So Will pretends to have killed Freddie Lowndes, and then he brings some meat, supposedly of her, to Hannibal so that they can have a romantic dinner together. And for some reason he says, she was a long pig.
It's long pig.
And for the longest time, I could not figure out why the fuck he says this, until someone told me that apparently it's a cannibal joke to call someone a long pig, or like if you get some meat and you're like, oh, what's this mystery meat? And they're like, that's long pig, because it's human. I don't have the one scene where Will and Hannibal are having a romantic dinner together. I feel like I've said that a couple of times now, but they do have quite a lot of romantic dinners together, especially in season 2. And Hannibal serves up a little fried bird that you're supposed to eat whole. And Will says,
I haven't been gorged, drowned, plucked, and roasted. Not yet.
Gagged, snatched, gooped, and pooped. Plucked, tucked, and totally...
Traditionally, during this meal, we are to...
Not helped by the fact that the camera lingers sensually over Will and Hannibal as they eat those little birds. And like, why did we have to see their mouths up close for several minutes? Was it worth it, Brian? It was. Here's another no context needed moment where Mason says, What game of chicken are you and the sperm doctor The sperm doctor? The sperm doctor? No!
What game of chicken are you and the sperm donor playing, Dr. Lecter?
Oh, and then Mason, in that same scene, he stabs the chair he's sitting in at Hannibal's office, and Hannibal actually cracks, and that's also the moment he knows that Mason is also going in the soup.
Never blink. Just send me the bill. I'm so sorry.
Mason is tripping out on psychedelic drugs, and the way he sees the world is he hallucinates Hannibal as like a wild boar, but it's only the head of a wild boar in a three-piece suit. So that was an artistic decision that was taken. Then Hannibal draws fan art of him and Will, and it's really one of those moments where you're like, oh my goodness, there's a fly? Can you fuck off? Okay. It's really one of those moments where you're like, how did anybody think that these guys were straight? Like, for really 1 second. Hannibal draws fan art of him and Will as freaking, what do they call it? Patroclus and what's his nuts?
Achilles lamenting the death of Patroclus. Achilles wished all Greeks would die, so that he and Patroclus could conquer Troy alone.
Look, Will, it's us as Greek lovers. How did this get past the producers? Oh my god, there's a fly on my eyebrow. Oh goodness. Anyway, and my head. Oh my god, fuck off. It's the final showdown, and Alana is pointing a gun at Hannibal. Jack has just had a fight with Hannibal, and he is bleeding out, and Hannibal says this when Alana asks, "Where's Jack?" And he says, "In the pantry."
Where's Jack?
In the pantry.
And I like that. It's just one last cannibal joke for the road. Yeah, so that was season 2. Great stuff. And there's a lot more stuff to come. So let's go right into season 3 in the next video. So once again, bye.